Hello, everybody. I'm excited because we are talking about how to break the cycle of clutter. We are talking about just really to keep your house clean in this season of fall. Now, so many of us, let me know, first of all, where you're from, what you're drinking. I am on Vancouver Island. I have a delicious horchata chai from David's Tea, and it's so yummy. And I am one of those people that just absolutely loves fall. So I'm so excited to be diving in, and I'm excited that you're here. So let me know where you are, what you are drinking. So we're going to talk about really fall and I don't know about you, but like the whole back to school vibe, I am obsessed with. I am obsessed with the fresh start feeling. And in this industry where I am with minimalism and decluttering, which, you know, is so near and dear to my heart, I really, really like to I love September and January are the best seasons to really inspire people to make change. So I'm going to talk about the struggle. So a lot of people, they will, and let me know if you can relate to this, is they will go through this cycle where they will declutter or they'll clean up, and then it just gets messy again so quickly. And that is so frustrating. And I myself, I deal with that too a lot when it comes to even like our garage. And it's because like I'm bad where I'll be like, okay, like we get the garage tidy. I'm not actually the problem in the garage. Let's just be clear. But I will get the house or the garage tidy. My husband will, my son, whoever. And then I'm bad because I'll like take a box, pretend my book is a box. I'll take my box and I'll go ahead and like throw it on the freezer instead of like breaking it down and putting it in recycling. Hey, Kelly, how are you? And so let me know, can you relate to that cycle? And, like the kitchen counter, that's a big one. Things just end up there. So the problem with that, it's not just that it frustrates us, but it's that it affects our productivity. It affects how we feel. Clutter is stressful, and stress affects your health. I used to be an emergency nurse, and clutter actually, well, stress, I should say, can cause an increase in cortisol, which can cause an increase in blood pressure, which can cause an increase in risk for stroke. Cortisol also increases your risk for all sorts of diseases like diabetes, etc. So we don't want that added stress. Plus, it can affect our relationships, causing arguments. It can cause guilt. We can feel bad about ourselves, which is not good. So the secret to staying tidy is not endless organizing. It's not actually a ton of ongoing work. It's not bins. It's not one-time purges. The secret truly is systems and small, consistent actions. So I have a thing where I call it the mighty method, and you may have heard of it before, where I break it down into 4 parts. And as a former emergency room nurse, the triage is the most important part. Well, it's the beginning, because in the emergency room, people would come in and we could have somebody who, has a sprained ankle, painful, right? Or even a UTI, again, painful. But we also could have somebody who has had a stroke, or who is having a heart attack, or whatever. Hi, Kathy from New Mexico. Welcome. So it's the same with your house. What are the biggest impact areas? And I am doing a challenge next week. I'll tell you guys more about that later, but it's about the closet and clothes. And that is one of the biggest impact areas for people, because you're starting your day in a stressful room. So maybe it's your kitchen. Having a messy kitchen is hugely impactful. It's going to impact how you do your cooking meals. Quite often we're just like, I'm not even going to bother. I'll just get takeout. Like, I'm just so unmotivated. I just feel so frustrated. So that is the first part, is triage. The second part is simplify. So then once we've decided like what area is bothering us the most, and then we're breaking that triage down further, which areas within that area are bothering us the most, we're going to simplify. So we're going to start decluttering. We're going to remove things. We're going to strategically remove things. And I have sort of like an algorithm that I use for that that I'm sharing in the challenge. But it really just, once we start removing things, because you cannot organize clutter. That's like trying to reorganize the chairs on a sinking ship. It just can't be done. The next section is organize. Once you've decluttered, once you've gotten rid of all of that stuff, then you organize what's left. So everything needs a home. Everything has to have a home. And I love Dana K. White. She's just incredible. And she just is like, if you pick up something like my AirPods case, and I go like, where would I look for this if I was looking, or if I needed it? And so that would be where you would store that thing. And if you are like, gosh, I don't know where to put it, where would I put that? Where would that category? When do I use that? That's when you can be like, oh, actually, I don't think I need to keep this. So then you can start even continuing to declutter while you're organizing, but having like standard places where you keep things, where you use them. So for me, we have this hot water kettle that I have shared about forever. I think I have it linked in the description because I just love it. It's on demand. I always have hot water, which is convenient for not just tea, which I am obsessed with. Again, tell me where you are and what you're drinking. I'm drinking horchata chai, but it's also good for cooking anytime you need boiling water. But anyway, anytime, so in that section, right by that boiling water, guess what's there? That's where the tea lives. Well, not the bulk supply of tea, but that's where the tea lives. That is where the cups are, right? So it's at the point of performance. So that is partially like how we're organizing things. And then the fourth step of the method. So we've got triage, simplify, organize, and then there's thrive. So I like to have resets built into routines. So having routines, how you keep your home clean. So for me, in my kitchen in the evening, when I'm like on the ball, because hey, I'm not perfect, like things fall apart sometimes, but in the evening before I go to bed, I do a quick make sure the kitchen's clean, make sure the counters are clean. Same walk through the dining room, all of that. In the morning when my 16-year-old is eating breakfast before I take him to school, I do another quick walk around and make sure I pick stuff up. Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke, Kathy. It's so good. And so, yeah, and then another thing, part of how I come up with the thrive is who is going to do it, when are they going to do it? So involving your family, involving your husband, whoever. And so, as I said, this is a natural restart season. So many of us, I don't know about you. So I'm in Canada, I'm on Vancouver Island, and I am actually in the most temperate part of Canada. It is not crazy hot summers. I mean, it can get into the mid 30s, and in the winter, usually it stays above 0 degrees, so above freezing. But last night it got down to 9 degrees, which is crazy because 2 weeks ago it was like 21 at night. So this season, I'm telling you, naturally, my body, my brain is nesting time. It's time to take care of the home. It's a natural reset season. Kids are in school. We're starting to shift to indoors a little bit more. You might be starting to want to do a bit more crafting, things like that. So you don't need to wait until January. So many people, they're like, I'll wait till January. Don't wait till January. Save something else for January. Take control of your home now. So one of the things that I have going right now is, and put any questions you have in the chat, or this is going to be a very short live stream. There are some issues right now with YouTube's algorithm, so it is not broadcasting and recommending things the way it should, which is really funny. Normally there's 50 to 100 people here right now. So if you have questions, now's your chance. But what I have coming right now, next week, there we go. My phone has just been hijacking my microphone lately. There we go. So as I said, when we look at triage, one of the rooms and spaces that really stress out a lot of people is their closet, is their bedroom. So every fall, I do a closet clean out challenge. And I myself, I'm actually filming a quick invite video. after this call. And even I was like, Robyn, like when I talk about thrive and like routines to put things away and stuff, I was like, you're not even like putting your clothes in the right spot, girlfriend. Like you need to tidy up a little bit. So I will be showing that when I invite people to this challenge. But so we have this closet, how we start our day. And a lot of people, it doesn't feel good. And you may not on a conscious level be like, oh, this is bothering me. But on a, oh, thank you, Kathy. But on a um subconscious level, like you're starting your day looking at a messy space, looking at a space that might have like decades of clothes in there. You might have things that don't fit and make you feel bad. You might have accessories or things that you don't use, and that is contributing to you feeling stressed. So I have my simplify or my closet challenge, which is next week. And it is next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So September 2nd, October 1st, and October 2nd. And it's free. You can just join up and I will share a little bit more about my method, how I can continue to help you, which is, optional, but it is going to be so fun. You can grab your free spot. And it's one of my favorite things because people love it and you're letting go of those clothes that no longer serve you. I just was going into switching some of my more like summery clothes. Like I'm not even a real lover of tank tops. Like I love hoodies. So I was taking the tank tops that I won't be wearing because it's just not that hot and getting them ready to go and put in the closet. And then I thought, oh well, maybe I should wait because I'm doing this video. But I even came up with a shirt where I thought, I don't wear this anymore. I can declutter this. And it feels so good. And then at the end of that challenge, you have a nice, tidy, clean closet for free, for fun in just 3 days. So I totally invite you to join us. It'll be so fun. And Kathy says, I'm looking forward to the closet clean out challenge. I have clothes in 3 closets. Oh, yeah. This is going to be perfect for you, Kathy. It's going to be so fun. And yeah, does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, it's going to be nice and short. And Kelly says, I've been needing to declutter my clothes again. This came at a great time. And don't you think fall is like the perfect time to do it? Because it's when a lot of us are switching our closets around. Now, I know there are people who are in much warmer climates that are like, no, I'm not. There's a girl I follow in Texas, and she's always just like, oh my gosh, like um, she's like, I pretend that it's fall, but it's so not. Like it's still just so hot. But here it's starting to become like crisp and lovely and nice. And I just feel like cooking and baking. Tell me your favorite fall things. I love just making all of the soups. And even though it's, when it's dinner time, it's not like that cold out or anything. I just feel like it. I love having my tea, love having my fall candles. It's just so fun. Yeah. So if we don't have any questions, this is going to be a very short live stream. I guess I'll just go record that video. I have my main channel, which used to be Decluttering Minimalism, but there was like so much drama around all of the stuff on that channel. And I ended up switching it over here because then I can have more of a fresh start over here, which is funny to go from a channel that had like almost 80,000 subscribers. It's going down now because I'm switching niches, but right now the reach is just crazy, crazy low. The Country Gardener soup and blankets, right? Don't you just love just the coziness? But then it's so funny because like come February, I'm like, I don't feel like this at all. I have space for all the clothes. Do I really need to declutter them? You don't. You can do whatever you want. If clothes don't fit, or if they don't feel good, or if you never wear them, do you need to keep them? One of the big things I always say is, sorry, hold on. I gotta hear you. I have a kitten who is just crazy. This is Pickle. He's another CH cat with the cerebellum issue, so he's wobbly. but it was just hanging off of I have like a duvet hanging behind here just to help with sound. But anyway, if you have a space that has a bunch of stuff in it, but you're not using the stuff, why keep that stuff, right? Like I like to talk about Swedish death cleaning, and it's just sort of like, so you're not leaving that mess to people in the future. And why not just like go through it? But if you don't want to, that's totally acceptable too. If there's something else you could keep in that space, or just having empty closets, I don't think there's anything wrong with empty closets. I happen to like them. Seattle. We went there in July. Oh my gosh, girl. We went downtown, trying to leave downtown Seattle. Pickle. Trying to leave downtown Seattle was a nightmare at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Like, I don't know what we were thinking. I gotta get them out of here. Well, why are your toys here? Pickle. There, go get your toys. Sorry. Oh my gosh. The country gardener. What was the country gardener says yes about the blankets and the soups? This kitten. I'm telling you, having these little babies, they're so cute, but so much work. Blankets are my downfall of clutter, though. You know, it's interesting, though, because as a person who has done a lot of decluttering, I have reached the point where I cannot declutter more blankets because my brother and my sister-in-law, they bring their kids usually in August. And we do need to have enough blankets for everybody. So I can't declutter anymore. Like, I think we have enough right now, but you do have to reach a point where you're like, do I have enough for people? And I also love sweatshirts. I just love them. They're so comfy. For those that do a capsule wardrobe, where do they store the other seasonal clothes when not in season? So this is a funny story because my mom, so for me, I have a large house. It's about to be too large. We have 2 kids who have graduated and one who is he's in grade 11. So we have a huge house. And so finding spot to store stuff isn't really an issue, but I don't like the mental weight of having stuff that I'm not using, which is why I am even like going through my clothes again, because I do have the space, but I don't want them. So what you can do if you have a smaller space is excuse me, there are nooks and crannies where you can keep everything because, well, Kelly, you're also somewhere that gets winter, right? We get our very wet winters up here in the Pacific Northwest. And my mom, she would keep all of her, you can see the kitten playing in the background. My mom, she would keep all of her off-season clothes in suitcases. So anytime we were going anywhere, she'd be taking her clothes out and leave them on the bed, like the off-season clothes. And then when she'd get home, unpack her suitcase, put those clothes back in her suitcase, put the suitcase back into storage. So that's a great option. Under the bed is a good option. You can stuff anywhere you want. And I had posted my minimalist tour, which I had done. Gosh, when was that? I did that actual tour back in January, and I'm just posting things to this channel again. But somebody had said, "Oh, you're not really a minimalist because I have a smaller house and I have like it's stuffed, but I still have less than you." And I was like, "That's totally valid and that's totally fine." But we live in a place. First of all, there are still 4 of us living here, and we have seasons here, and that's what somebody else in the comments said. So we have to have snow shovels, even though it hardly ever snows here, but we need them when we need them, which is such a bummer. And same for clothes. Like I need several jackets because not only do I live somewhere that does get winter, but I live somewhere that gets snow sometimes. But I also live somewhere that gets a ton of rain. But I also live somewhere that has like mornings where you don't want to cook in your jacket, but you do need a jacket, right? So you do have to have a spot to store things. Is this getting too loud for you guys? He's so noisy. And then how and where to store all the blankets? Yeah. So for me, I keep my blankets stored in I'm loving these questions. Thank you. I wanted this to be a bit of a longer live stream. So the blankets, you can keep them anywhere. You could keep them if you have a guest room. You could keep them on the bed, just either folded or laid out. You can keep them in the top of closets, under beds, all over the place. If you have a really small space. Also, you can get those vacuum bags where it sucks the air out and makes them really flat. That can be really good, and you can fit so much, even just in the back of your closet. Um, and then the country gardener says, I've done a capsule wardrobe for the past 2 years and finally gotten it down to where all of my seasonal clothes fit. Yay! But this took 2 years, countless trash bags of clothes donated. Yeah. And that's the thing is, it is a process. And there were clothes that I wore 10 years ago that I would never wear now. And it took even a year of being like, oh, I don't wear these, but it still feels really weird to let them go. And at the same time, saying, okay, I went a full year, like a full extra season, basically, to say, all right, I'm letting it go. I often say, be ruthless, just let it go. But sometimes when we're wearing clothes, every week for several years, your brain forms kind of an attachment to that. So it's really handy. I often like to talk because I'm in Canada. Hockey's a huge thing here. Thank God my kids didn't play hockey. My husband doesn't watch hockey, although I do like to go to a game whenever I visit my brother in Calgary. I'm going in November. But I love to say the penalty box. So it doesn't have to be box, it can be anything. Just be mentally in your head where you're like, all right, it's like even turning your hanger around for your clothes in your closet. Just saying, all right, if I don't wear this by next year, okay, I can let it go. The penalty box, and it's the same as the country grocer saying, or gardener. That's what the grocery store here is called, the country grocer. And blanket hangers. I have a whole closet that is blankets. See, that is great. I love it, and that is what Kathy could do if she needed a spot, but she's got the space. Thank you so much. You are just so sweet. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I kind of wonder um if anybody here lives somewhere that it's hot. What is it like to not really have like real seasonal changes or not like real noticeable ones? There's people I follow who do gardening in places like Tennessee where I know they do get winter, but it doesn't start as soon, it doesn't last as long. Quite often it's not as drastic. And I just wonder, I think it's almost like how birds know to migrate south for the winter, that our brains naturally just adapt to whatever next season is coming. And it's the same as yeah, so I almost wonder, like, what is it going to be like for me when my kids don't go back to school in 2 years, when there's no back to school feeling, although there may be one in college. We'll see what the youngest does. But I always wonder what that's like and what it's like for people who live in, LA, where they barely, I mean, I know in, December, January, it'll get a little colder and they notice it. But what that seasonal change is like, it just blows my mind to not be like, winter? There's no winter. Although I did live in Alberta in Canada, it gets like very cold. I visited my brother last February, January there, and it was like minus 36 Celsius, which is around the same in Fahrenheit. It was very cold. And I just was like, I used to live with that. Although, actually, to be honest, I really liked it because it's so sunny there. And here, as Kelly knows, it's very, very dreary here in the winter. Oh, is it ever? So, have I regretted giving away any clothes? No. Well, let me think. I don't think so. I did just order a navy tank top and a black tank top to wear with a dress that's too low cut because maybe I had decluttered some in the past, but I don't mind that because my theory, I'll tell you the one thing that I ever replaced. And that was I had bought 6 2-liter so half-gallon jars to make kombucha. And then I ended up not making kombucha for like only like a year or two. And I was like, oh no, I need to buy more of these jars because I had decluttered them. And I don't even regret that. It was like a $30 reinvestment, but I didn't have 6 big glass jars kicking around, you know? And it's the same with the tank tops. Like, it's okay if you declutter something and maybe one day are like, oh, actually, it is kind of convenient to have these tank. As I mentioned before, I don't really like tank tops, but they are convenient for certain clothes. And I had to buy these ones because they're plain. So that's the only thing that I wouldn't say I regret it, but I did replace. And it's in the 90s in New Mexico. I rarely wear a coat. Yeah, and that's actually one of the ladies who she comes a lot. CJ, she lives like more in the mountains, and so it does get winter there. But it's so interesting because when I took my son to school today, I was like, it was 9, which is probably like 42. I don't know, Fahrenheit, and I put on my jacket. I didn't need to, but yeah. We live in Tahoe. Oh, cool. I keep my ski clothes in the back closet. Yeah, ski boots, winter boots stay in suitcase in under the house storage. Yeah. So stuff like that where you're not using it a lot, it's okay if it's an inconvenient spot because yeah, like sometimes it's just like, oh, I gotta get that. Like I have a couple of like really cute like Lego things that I like to get out for fall. They're way up top at the top of the shelf, but it's like get it out for fall, beginning of November, put them back, done. And yeah, I love that. Warm weather clothes in my drawers. I think when you hit 40, you don't realize how many clothes you've kept for 20 years. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's so funny, like, I look at stuff, I'm like, "Why did I wear this?" Even when I was, like, 30. Why was I wearing that? We travel to warmer temps frequently, so I can't put away. So that's interesting. So we are traveling. I'm going to Duran Duran. I don't know if anybody knows who they are. I am so excited. I actually got tickets to Radiohead, in Spain like, we're not, like, rich, which is why we're not going there anymore, but I love them, and I'd been watching them since and listening to them since I was in since I was like 13. Before I was 13, no, 14. My friend and I, we each gave each other the tape for their first album. And anyway, so I ended up my sister-in-law's going instead because then all the kids wanted to come, and I was like, I do not have the money to pay for everybody to go to Europe in November. But we are going, thank goodness, to Phoenix at the beginning of January, and it is going to be so nice to be somewhere that's even like, and I know I have a friend who lives in Phoenix, and she's like, it's actually not that warm then. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it's like 15. I'm like, oh, that's good. But we went to Mexico last year, and I do have my stuff, my warm clothes, but I can just get them out if I need to. We might go to Disneyland in February. We'll see. Here in San Francisco, I wear the same things most of the year. We layer with sweaters and fleece. I have a windbreaker and a heavy coat and a scarf. Yeah. Layering is huge, huge. And I actually find it harder to travel places in sort of like later spring than I do in winter. Winter is easy. You just bring lots of clothes. You bring your heavy jacket. When I go visit my brother in Alberta, it's easy because I know what I need. Here it's a little harder. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's just going to be damp and rainy. But if I go somewhere else, it's a little different, right? You do need to layer more for sure. Yeah. But if you do, like if you're traveling to warmer temps weekly, okay. But if it's monthly, you could put your stuff away or not. Have a special drawer for it. Keep out those clothes that you would use. I think that's also worthwhile. Any more questions, guys? I will remind you all about the free challenge next week, which is September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd. It is the closet challenge where we are, and I do this every year. I've done it for the past, like, gosh, I want to say 4 years, and we're just going to get your closet organized. You're going to declutter it and you're going to organize it. And it is just so nice to have a nice fresh closet in fall. Just makes the dressing fun. Does anybody else just think of fall when they think capsule wardrobe? Like I sure do. I just love fall. I should actually repost my capsule wardrobe video because I just love a capsule wardrobe so much. All right, if you're just getting here, if you want to stay on, send me any questions. Let me know what you're drinking, where you're from. I do have another thing I have to get to soon, but I'm happy to sit and chat for a few more minutes if anybody else has more questions. We were talking about the way to keep your house clean. And one of the biggest ways, of course, is to declutter because we can't organize clutter. You know, we're not rearranging the chairs on a sinking ship. We are setting ourselves up for a successful existence, a successful life. We moved and I'm having a hard time getting rid of things because I might need them. Yeah. So here's the thing. There are a couple of things you can think of. Number one, the chances of you needing something that you haven't needed for a long time are low. I understand if you've just moved though. However, you also know what it's like to move a bunch of stuff that you're not using. And if you can replace it, I had just explained, I don't know if you were here for that, that I had replaced, something for $30, which maybe accounting for inflation, we need to raise that to $30. But if you can replace something for less than $30 in less than 30 minutes, you probably can let it go, especially if it's something that you have not been using. And I know it's so hard to think, but what if I need it one day? But what if you did need that one day and you didn't have it? What would you do? Would you be able to make do with something else? Would you be able to borrow that thing from somebody else? Or would you buy it or just make do? I don't know if I already said that. So the closet challenge is recorded. There are replays, but you will need to watch them soon. So make sure you sign up. I'll put the link there again. Make sure you sign up so that you can get the replays because you'll get like emails. It's not public on YouTube. It is unlisted. Hi from Texas, drinking iced tea. Hello, Mary Beth. Nice to see you. I am drinking horchata chai, and it is so yummy. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'll be going live on the other channel at 1. And about the other channel, if you're not really interested in YouTuber business, you don't need to watch it. It actually kind of confuses the algorithm as much as I really do appreciate the support. And I'm seeing so many sweet messages from people, but I'm like, if it's not for you, it's just going to confuse the algorithm. But if you are interested in the business stuff, come on over. It's so fun for me to talk about. And my reason for Lisa, I have to say your little picture there, I think it's a boat, but every time I glanced at it, I was thinking like hot dog or like a piece of sushi or something like that. We got Texas and Oklahoma saying hi to each other. I love it. That is just so sweet. Yeah, so this channel or my other channel, the big one, he got hit with crazy stuff, like traffic issues. And if you were here 2 years ago, you know all about that. And it was just, like such a hubbub and a to-do. And it was just really stressful. And I really kind of feel like this sort of niche, this topic on that channel, it was best to actually move it over here. So I'm very happy about that. We lived on the river. I love it. I love it. That's so cool. I live on an island right on a mountain right next to the ocean. And, so you have your island people or your ocean people here and your mountain people. And I love the ocean, but I am so much more of an island person or mountain person, I should say. All right, ladies. Well, I'm mostly ladies, I assume. I'm going to get ready for my call I have coming up. And then if you're interested in business, come to the other channel at 1:00, like in an hour and a half, and I'll see you there. How did you start your minimalism business? Well, I'll put the link for the challenge here and I'll explain that. So this channel, quick little recap story. This channel, or not this channel, my big channel, started as a gardening channel back in January 2019. And I love gardening. I was an emergency room nurse. It was like the spot I would go just to like lower my blood pressure because that's a very, very, very stressful job. And I was making YouTube about it. And I was terrible at it because I was hiding all of the imperfections and all of the things. And it also was just stealing any of my relaxation. It turned my like relaxing, healthy hobby into something that wasn't. So, come fall 2019, I started talking more about cleaning and decluttering. And then in the spring, started talking about minimalism and decluttering. And a year later, um, actually, was it I started doing consultations with people about decluttering. I believe it was that summer of 2020. And then just kept going. The channel had been pivoted to minimalism and just started doing that and then started coaching people. I do one-on-one. If you're ever like, I just need to be held accountable, I have one-on-one packages available. Email me and I'll tell you about it because that's how you can get so much done is one-on-one. I help you stay accountable and you get so much done. So yeah, that's that part. And then YouTube, I have been obsessed with since I started. So I was like, I need to help people who, don't connect with the gurus. They want to talk to somebody who actually like has been in it more recently, is not like a billionaire like some people actually are. And I'm not an anti-billionaire person. I'm just saying I'm not one of them. I am somebody who's like an average person. I was a nurse and I was juggling the kids and everything. And that's why I like to talk about business. So Stephanie says, hi from Alaska. I was in Northwest Washington, moved back home, drinking caramel oat milk latte. Yay, that is so nice. I love watching shows about Alaska because it kind of reminds me a little bit more of like where I grew up, which was more the interior of BC. I mean, certainly you get much more winter than I did, but here it's so wet and temperate. It's just different. The funny thing about these live streams is it's just me like talking. But when I'm talking back and forth, I feel like I'm not. Yay, you sign up for the challenge. I'm so glad. Yeah, make sure you guys sign up for the challenge. It's next week. It's free. The calls are at 12 p.m. Pacific time, but there are replays. But I really recommend you come to the calls. And they're available for only a couple days after. And it's September. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, September 30th to October 2nd. Kathy, so YouTube, I had mentioned earlier, and I'm doing a live stream on my other channel about this, but only come if you're interested in business or YouTube. But yeah, YouTube is really doing weird things. It's not showing people, it's not recommending the way it's supposed to right now, that's what YouTube does. If you've been around for any length of time, I think Kathy has been, what I went through. I made a video. I was like crying on my bathroom floor. I never wanted to make a video like that. It is private now, but my community was so wonderful. And they actually helped me. They helped me kind of figure out how to change the settings so that this weird thing wasn't happening. So the parent company, that starts with a G, didn't like send it out into their responses, which was throwing things off. So anyway, so interesting. All right, ladies, this was amazing. So nice to chat with you. If you missed like the actual tips, go back and watch from the beginning. And I can't wait to see you at the challenge. I hope something great happens for you today. Stay tidy.